Hi and welcome to a 5-minute maths video on rationalising the denominator. In this video we're going to be taking a look at rationalising the denominator. Now what we mean by that is by trying to get rid of the surd at the bottom of the fraction. Now we're not trying to change the surd into a different value, it's just trying to make sure that the surd is not at the bottom of the fraction. So if I look at this first one, we have root 2 as the denominator of the fraction. Now, as I've said, we don't want to change the value of this surd. So what we're going to do is multiply this by root 2 over root 2, as root 2 over root 2 is just 1, so it's not changing the value. This then becomes 3 root 2 on the top of the fraction, and root 2 times root 2, which is 2 on the bottom. This is already in its simplified form, so I don't need to do anything else with this one. The second example, same sort of idea. I'm going to multiply this by root 8 over root 8, because root 8 over root 8 is 1. So this equals 3 root 8 over 8. Now, this isn't in its simplified form because root 8 can be simplified. So this becomes 3 root 4 times by 2 over 8, which is 6 root 2 over 8. This again can still be simplified as 6 and 8 has a common factor of 2. So if I half both of those, I get 3 root 2 over 4. The last one, similar sort of idea. I'm going to multiply this by root 6 over root 6. So that then becomes 2 root 3 times by root 6 over 6. 2 root 3 times root 6 is just 2 root 18 over 6. The root 18 can be simplified, so that's 2 root 9 times 2, which is then 6 root 2 over 6. I should have put this one over 6 as well. And 6 root 2 over 6 is just exactly the same as root 2, as the 6's cancel each other out. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. See how you get on. So here are the answers to those questions. I hope you did okay. If not, just go back to the beginning of the video, have a re-look through and try those questions again. The next few examples might look a little bit harder, but they're actually not that much difficult. So I'm going to try and take you through what we need to do, and then you can have a go at a few questions. So it's the same sort of idea. We are going to be multiplying by a fraction that's equivalent to 1. So on this first one, we're actually going to be multiplying by 3 minus root 2 over 3 minus root 2. Now you might have noticed that all I've done there is to switch the sign of the denominator, and I'm going to try and explain why that's the case. So if we multiply the top of the fraction, this bit's quite easy. I'm going to do 2 times by 3, which is 6, and then 2 times by minus root 2, which is minus 2 root 2. The bottom of the fraction is a little bit harder, so I'm actually just going to put this in brackets so you can see what's happening here. So it's 3 plus root 2 multiplied by 3 minus root 2. So if I just look at that bit separately then, so we've got 3 plus root 2 multiplied by 3 minus root 2. Now the 3 times by the 3 gives me 9. 3 times by minus root 2 is minus 3 root 2. 2 times by the 3 here is plus 3 root 2. And then root 2 times by minus root 2 is going to give me minus 2. This simplifies down quite nicely because you end up with 9 take away 2, which is 7. And then minus 3 root 2 plus 3 root 2 cancel each other out. So all you're actually left with on the bottom of your fraction is 7. So I can rewrite this at the top as 6 minus 2 root 2 over 7. Obviously at this point, if you did need to simplify it, you would, but this one's already simplified. So the next example is very similar. I'm going to multiply this by 5 plus root 3 over 5 plus root 3. And that's again, all I've done there is switch the sign in the middle. So this then becomes 2 multiplied by 5 plus root 3 over 5 minus root 3 multiplied by 5 plus root 3. When we expand all that out, we get 10 plus 2 root 3 over 5 times 5, which is 25. 5 times plus root 3, which is 5 root 3. Root 3 times 5, or minus root 3 times 5, which is minus root 3, so they're going to cancel each other out. Then I've got minus root 3 times by 3, which is minus 3. So you end up with 10 plus 2 root 3 over 22. Now this one can be simplified as 2 goes into all of these, so you end up with 5 plus root 3 over 11. The last example then, similar to the other two, I'm going to multiply this by 3 minus root 2 over 3 minus root 2. It's just a little bit harder because of the expansions that we've got to do. So 2 times by 3 is 6. 2 times by minus root 2, which is minus 2 root 2. Root 2 times 3, which is plus 3 root 2. And then root 2 times by minus root 2, which is minus 2. And that's going to be over 3 times by 3, which is 9. 3 times by minus root 2, which is minus 3 root 2. 3 times by plus root 2, which is plus 3 root 2. So this one does cancel out. And root 2 times by minus root 2, which is minus 2. So this then becomes 6, take away the 2, which is 4. Minus root 2 plus 3 root 2, which is positive root 2. And then that is over 9 minus 2, which is 7. This one was a little bit more tricky, and it might take you a little bit longer with the expansion. But if you just keep working at it, you should be fine. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. These are quite tricky, so do take your time over them. Pause the video here and see how you get on. Okay, so here are the answers to those questions. I hope you got on okay. As I've said, it is quite a tricky topic, so please take your time with these. If you have got any questions, please put them in the comments and I will get back to you. Thanks very much for watching the video. Keep on working hard and good luck with your exams.